Right. As far as the injuries go, really, it's Nick Bolton. He had surgery yesterday. He'll be back in Los Angeles. He'll be back here tomorrow. With Justin Ross, just addressing that up front, we're taking in all the information and have been. We'll continue to do that. He's back here. He'll work today. And we'll just take it from there. Other than that, I really don't have any information for you other than what we're gathering and what we've gathered. So, all right, on to the Broncos. We look forward to the challenge of playing them for sure. Even though it just happened a couple of weeks ago, we know the battle that we had with them, and they're a good football team. They're coming off a big win against Green Bay, and where they played well, and we've got to make sure that we get our work done these next few days here before we head up there. So we started that today with the walkthrough, and we'll keep building on that. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Coach, when you play a team twice in about 3 weeks, a team you know very well, do you save parts of a plan that you don't show the first game for the second game? How do you work that out?
Yeah, you normally don't do that, no.
Oh.
Yeah, so you start saving things in this business and you got problems. So that is the way I've always looked at it. So you gotta, whatever stuff you've got for that game, you put it out there and you go. And then when you play them again, you put your best stuff out there and go. So that's what I've always felt.
Andy, Nick Bolton, will he go on IR?
Veach is going through all that now, so I'll get you that information when he finalizes it, but we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. The one positive was he didn't have to have any metal put in there, so that was a positive going forward. And so we've just got to kind of check, see how the things go here. But Veach is on top of all that. So.
Justin Ross going to practice?
Yeah, he'll practice.
Andy, would Justin Watson just speak procedurally to how you go about determining keeping somebody out there with when something like this comes up, or what is on the mechanics?
Listen, all the situations are different. So, obviously, the law enforcement part of it, you listen to what the real details of what went on, and then we keep open communication, Brett, myself, and our people that deal with the law enforcement. So, and then we make the final decision from there.
You didn't mention Justin Watson. Do you expect him to practice today too?
Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah.
When you guys were getting ready for the Broncos a couple of weeks ago, how have you seen them progress in year one for Sean? How much better do they look now maybe than the first time you saw them not long ago?
Yeah, well, Sean made some big moves and letting guys go. And he's a veteran coach. I mean, he did that for a reason. And they made some adjustments on the defensive side, and they're playing good football, And so I don't know what went through all of that, but the last couple of games they've changed up what they were doing before that, and they've had success with it. So, but it's because he's been around, and his defensive coordinator was a head coach. He's been around, so they know how to maneuver, and have done a good job with it.
Andy, with third down conversions, you guys are number one in the league, and with third down and 15 and above, you guys really have a large gap in between other teams. What's made you so successful in third down conversions, especially the long ones?
Yeah, well, listen, Matt takes care of all that, Nagy, and he does a great job with it. And then, obviously, Pat has a huge part of that. I mean, he's special in that area, throwing the ball. I mean, he's very special, and then the receivers and offensive line have done a good job. So, but the scheme has been great, and the players have been great. You know, it's the best answer I can give you. But you're only as good as the next one, right? So you gotta make sure you take care of that.
Coach, are you, back in the day, remember when Tony Gonzalez was playing great football at tight end, especially coincidence, but against the Broncos, they throw Champ Bailey on him. So, you know, are you ever surprised that, you know, you don't see Travis getting that kind of attention? Is there a reason the game has evolved to a point that wouldn't
Yeah,
be?
yeah, well, number 2 jumped on him on third downs last time we played him. So, you know, that, they know who Trav is, and they had a plan there. So, maybe you see a little bit more of that or whatever, you know, whatever. But teams are taking and putting good players on Trav or doubling them. And he and Pat they've got a unique chemistry there. So, yeah.
Is it all that unspoken connection, or are you, I'm sure you, I know you guys drill everything down to the nth degree, or does it take a little, does some of this credit maybe go to your line for giving a little more time for Pat to see how Travis is gonna read it? And where he's
Yeah,
gonna
the line does, they do a good job. And then we always talk with the receivers, tight ends, about having that clock in your head. And Trav's got that ability to keep that thing running. How long can I do what I need to do to get open? And Pat stays in tune with that. And so they've got a good connection. I mean, that's what makes them special together. You know, but from a defensive standpoint, you try to put too many guys on one guy, and then the other guys, you know, have a battle. So it can be a tough thing from that side.
All right, great, thank you.
Good. Yeah, thanks.
What is the challenge of playing a division opponent twice in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you play a division opponent, you know each other already. You prepare for against that team, and they prepare against you all off season. And then being able to play them 2 times in 3 weeks, really, a little less than that, honestly. It's a challenge because we're so much familiarity. They know what we want to do. We know what they want to do, and now how can each team execute at a high enough level to have success. And so obviously they did a great job against us with their defense this last game, and how can we adjust, and I know they're going to make adjustments as well, and have success this next game.
Looks like there may be snow in the forecast on Sunday. I know there's been that video in history of you kind of saying you're a snow game guy. Do you have any reason or rhyme or reason why that could be the case?
I don't, because I grew up in Texas, so I only saw snow like twice when growing up, so just kind of got accustomed to it here in KC.
Is there something with the grip that maybe like?
It's definitely, I thought snow was going to be, I guess, like rain, where it gets a little slippery, whereas snow, it actually kind of makes it a little bit sticky in the air. So I think that could be something as far as why, and then at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and throw it and see what happens.
Patrick, when it comes to third down conversions, you guys are number 1 in the league, and then when it comes to third and 15s, you guys have a sizable margin between 1 and 2. What is it about third downs that you guys are just able to just create out there and make it work?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality. The coaches preach how we're going to execute. The guys go out there and do it, and then we just have belief that we're going to make it happen some way. It all starts up front. The offensive line in third downs has to block against great pass rushers when their ears are kind of pinned back and they want to get to the quarterback, and they've done a great job of that. And then the guys, whenever I've extended, have been able to make plays happen. So you got to have the mentality to really execute it during practice so you can execute it during the game.
Do you feel like you're at your best when you're able to extend those plays sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do a great job first of having the play calls to go against what the defense is presenting to us. And then whenever we do extend, I think guys do a great job of getting themselves open. And then whenever I can run for it, I try to run for it.
I know you spread the ball around. It was 10 receivers, 11 targeted. But you ever go back when you see the first half Travis Kelce had? You ever like, I don't know, giggling in the huddle, like, why aren't they covering this guy? Like, he's not an unknown commodity, and it seemed like it was easy for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think defenses and defensive coordinators are doing their best to cover him. There's a reason he's Travis Kelce. He finds a way to get himself open versus man, versus zone, kind of versus everything. So I'm just glad he's on my team. I'll say that.
Hey, there was a reason for you to pull for certain major league teams when you were growing up because of your dad. But I wonder if the Texas Rangers were ever part of your fandom as a kid.
Yeah, no, I was a big Rangers fan. Kind of when I grew up, especially kind of those high school years when they were kind of getting to the World Series. They ended up losing 2 of them, and I was able to go to some of those games. And so I was a Rangers fan. I guess it's my team when the Royals aren't in contention. So I'm happy for them to get to the World Series. I know Shane Buechele was a big Rangers fan as well, so I texted him when they got there. So it is cool to see, and hopefully they go out and win it all.
It's been a few days now. What do you think McCole just generally has brought back to the team?
Yeah, I think he just brings another spark of energy. I mean, y'all see McCole, man. He always has a smile on his face. And for him to be there in that locker room, you can just feel the energy and then obviously the speed. And he has familiarity with the offense. And so other guys that are younger can even learn from him just because he's been here for a couple of years now. And even though he left, he's back quick enough that he can pick up the stuff that we added in pretty quickly.
Rasheed mentioned on that touchdown that it was originally he was supposed to run a corner, but he made an adjustment there. How quickly is he coming along as far as being able to make adjustments? And was that kind of something you expected him to do, or thought he might do based on the coverage?
Yeah, I mean, he has great feel. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, obviously you see how explosive he is, and you see the physical talent, but he has a good understanding of when he's open and how to stay open. And he's starting to recognize coverages more and more. Coverages are a little bit more complex than they were in college, but you can tell as he's starting to learn more and more, he's getting himself open. And so I think we'll continue to work with that, and he'll continue to find ways to get himself open whenever maybe the necessary route is not going to be, and he did a good job of that on the touchdown.
Did you see that too? Were you hoping that maybe he would make that adjustment? Or?
Yeah, originally he was the primary originally, but we had a kind of another option if they played a two-high shell, which was Kadarius, and they did a good job of covering that, and I kind of reset it back. And was just looking for a guy to kind of have an outlet to throw a check down to, and just saw him pull up in that window perfectly. So, yeah, he definitely wasn't supposed to be open, but he did a good job recognizing the coverage, knowing where to be at the right time.
Todd? Patrick, a couple things. First off, Justin got arrested the other day. He's back. Coach said to the team. As the captain of the team, what sort of message do you have for him as he comes back and tries to work through this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we love Justin. I don't know too many of the details as far as that goes, but in this locker room it's a brotherhood, so we just try to pick each other up as much as possible.
Football question. On the scrambles, the third and long scrambles, it seems that you always have just enough to get there. You talked about your speed before, but is there a secret to knowing, like, where the routes are? How do you pick where to go, when to run? Is there the spots where you can run on a play if it breaks down on something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking to throw first, knowing that the guys are faster than me and they can make the big plays happen. And then whenever I do run, I run scared and try to get out of bounds and pass the first down as fast as possible.
Last one by
Patrick, with everybody's tough out there, but with Rasheed, both those touchdown catches in recent weeks, he was going to get hammered. Can you just describe what it tells you and your own trust to see a guy take the hit and nobody's willing to take the hit like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a good football player at the end of the day. He wants to go out there and win. He wants to compete. He's Texas tough, man. Those Texas guys, man, they're tough out there on the football field.
Thank you. Well, Chris, coming your way in a little bit here, but probably safe going.
There's a penalty for that.
Hey, it's all good. Coach Reid called a timeout.
Hey, Chris, you guys worked a lot in training camp on that third down package with you and George outside and then Mike and Charles inside. You finally got to unveil it. What do you like about that? I mean, how tough do you think you four are up there?
I don't know how to answer your question. I didn't go to training camp.
That's
But
right, you weren't there.
it's all good. It's all good.
Gosh, I'm like you're talking about brain cramps.
Yeah, it's all
Three of
good.
the four, but how excited were you just to be able to get it out there?
It was fun. I think we can continue to build off of it. I think our best game is ahead of us. I think building chemistry along the defensive line, having Charles in there, everyone being able to move around. We got Mike Dana who can play 3-tech or a bump on the outside. We got George who's getting accustomed to being moved around, and every guy's in the room is interchangeable on the pass rush. So I think it's a plus for our D-line.
Chris, when you play a team twice in basically 3 weeks, what are the pros and cons to that?
It gets harder. The team knows what you excels at, and the team knows where you kind of had a problem at the first game. So Denver Broncos, I think they have a heck of a quarterback, an amazing coach, Sean Payton, and great supporting staff around them. I think last year they had one of the top defenses. A lot of guys on that defense still remain there, so I think that's a tough outing. This is a nice group. Unfortunately, their record doesn't show that, but I think they're still a great team.
Chris, you guys have done a really good job.
When you talk about the record and what you saw from them last year and expectation from this year, is there anything that caught you by surprise coming out of that game about how well they played this season?
I think they got two dynamic running backs who can run the ball. I think they got a veteran quarterback who is decisive on his throws, who can command the offense and pick you apart if you give him enough time. So coming from that, and they got a heck of a head coach. I think Sean Payton is, for me, is one of the legendary coaches in this league, Hall of Fame coach that I respect very much. So, when you take that in perspective, they got the potential to be a really, really good team.
Chris, you guys have done a really good job against the division, right? You won the division a bunch of years in a row. Part of that is beating this team. You've never lost to the Broncos, right?
I don't think so. I mean, knock on wood.
What do you attribute that to?
Preparation. The guys in this building, from the coaches to the players to the scout team, giving us great looks, preparing us to be ready for whatever we get in a game. I think it's as a whole, everyone being accountable, and that message passing on down from the coaches and to us, and I think it plays a huge part in our success going on the field.
Chris, we're approaching the halfway point here, we're getting close. How much is there a sense in the locker room that you guys have the potential to be the best defense in the NFL this year?
I think more so is the sense of just being better than we was last week. We don't want to put that weight on anyone's shoulder. We still got a lot of young guys, still got a lot of guys growing. So as a whole, you want to just be better than you was last week. And at the end of the year, we'll continue to do that. I think we have the potential to be one of the best defenses in this league. But right now, it's not about being the best defense in the league. It's about being the best we can be week in and week out.
Chris, how much does the return of Charles, the presence of Charles, help you be that? What kind of dimension is he adding?
Charles being able to play inside and outside, came back. He got over the excitement, got his sack. We welcome him back with open arms. He's going to be a guy we're able to use all around the place. He's big, he's tall, he's actually fast, faster than he look. No pun intended. He can go inside or outside. I think that can help our group tremendously. Like I was telling Joe Cullen, I never think you can have enough pass rushers in one group.
And you said he got over that excitement. Did you kind of have to reel him in? Maybe was that?
Yeah, you know, when you haven't played for a while and to come back and get that sack, it's just a relief because, it's like he finally got it, and then also to be back with us. I can only imagine how much he missed the game and been away from his time, how that played an effect on his emotion. So glad to have him back.
He told us in the locker room he's a Swiss Army knife. If he's a Swiss Army knife on the defense, what are you?
I'm just Chris Jones.
The hammer?
I don't know. Whatever y'all want to call it, y'all. Whatever y'all want to call it.
Chris, I've asked a few guys this, but the schedule is more unique now than maybe ever before since you've been with the team. Just how much of a challenge has the schedule been? Because you guys are going to have more miles this year, obviously Germany included, than you have obviously in your year previously.
I think it's super exciting. We got a lot of guys who come from college that haven't been overseas yet, right? So to get the opportunity to go overseas and play in front of Germany fans who's going to be excited, I think it's remarkable. Also to expand the game on that type of level, I think that's remarkable also. You know, we don't make the schedules. We don't have a choice on where the schedule go. Just wherever you put us, that's where we'll be at.
Chris, when it comes to, you guys are number one in the league in knockdown balls and batted balls. Just what is it to that you guys have been so well at that?
Well, when you got two guys in the middle that's 6'5" and 6'6", then you know it's like playing basketball, right? Just getting the block. No, I think it's some George and the rest of the guys we work on. You know, our coach, he emphasizes a lot throughout the week. You know, Joe Kelly emphasizes it a lot. Pass rushing, knocks, sacks, hurries. So we kind of simulate drills for everything that we do in the game, and on Sunday it kind of shows up.
You guys have played a couple of games without Nick, but you lost him during the middle of the game the other day. What was the difference like having kind of Drew take over the play calls during the game, and what has he done to maybe show that he can replace Nick as much as possible?
First and foremost, Nick, we're going to miss you. I love you. Get well soon, my guy. Nick's, that's my dog. That's my LB. But Drew's done a heck of a job coming in and filling that void for Nick. He's been very vocal. He's took that leadership role of voicing everyone and getting us lined up. So I think he's done a tremendous job in the amount of time that he's been able to accustom to the defense coming from there last year. Defense is kind of complicated at times to kind of adjust to, but he's done an amazing job on picking us up and getting us directed.
Hey, Chris, if I can follow up on that, when you've been obviously on two Super Bowl teams and a team that won one, but what's been the biggest difference from year to year to where you're at right now compared to previous years?
I think every year has its challenges. You know what I mean? I think every year is different. Every year offers different adversity, right? This year in particular, we got a lot of young guys, got a lot of new faces. You know, I think part of those Super Bowl teams, we had a lot of familiar faces amongst the defense, amongst the team as in general. So when you have a lot of new guys come in, first and foremost, it's about getting those guys to buy into the system of being unselfish, and also buy into winning and sacrificing. So once you're able to do that, you're able to make strides. And secondly, it's about commitment, committing to being better every day, especially in practice, giving your best foot forward, and it'll show up on game day.
Chris, shortly before you hit the podium, reports kind of broke that Frank's heading to Seattle just to talk to them and see if it works out. I know you've been campaigning for him on social media. What's your reactions and maybe him landing back with the team that he started with?
Listen, I think that's a remarkable thing for Frank. I think he had a lot of success in Seattle. You know, Frank, I love him like a brother. I actually talked to him last night about this. You know, I wish the best for him. Hopefully, he comes here. But most importantly, I want what's best for him in his career. You know, Seattle, hometown team, is who drafted him, so it makes sense. And you know, I hope it goes well for him.
Chris, you're almost halfway through. Have you been looking at your snap percentages and sacks, the things that have to do with your incentives? Yet, or are you just trying to put that all out of your mind?
Man, I don't really think about the incentives. I know I hit them all. It's not such a big deal to me. I know they're achievable. I know I'll achieve them. I don't really have to think about it, you know.
Last one.
Chris, last year, obviously, this was around the time when there was the controversy hit of a strip sack, but it was called, obviously, roughing the passer. This year, you guys have not had those issues of, this is not meant to jinx, but what has led you guys to sack the quarterback at such a high level, but not, obviously, be penalized yet?
Still early, man. Still early, man. Let's just keep the fingers crossed and making sure we roll and, hit in the area we're supposed to hit in. Coach Pass does a good job, especially on Saturday, giving us, tips on the game. He always bring up the hit zone of the quarterback where you can and can't hit him at. So we always keep that in the back of our head, especially playing against guys like Russell Wilson. When you get close to him, he's able to duck being sits, trying to get low, it's easy to get the head, or it's easy to kind of land on top of them. So body weight shifting and you know, trying to protect ourselves from, you know, any injuries going down.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Chris?